Welcome to Research Perch from the Massage Therapy Foundation. Short, practical insights into massage therapy research and how it can benefit your practice.
Hello, I'm Robin Anderson, President of the Massage Therapy Foundation, and welcome to another edition of Research Perch. So today we begin another multi-part series on an exciting project, another one that the foundation is interested in embarking on in the next few months or so. And this has to do with practice-based research networks, or PBRN as the acronym goes. So, many people tend to ask us at the foundation, how do I get involved in research? How do I get involved with being a part of research, or how do I learn about it? And PBRNs have that ability to do that. And so today, my guests are going to sort of shed some light on that and sort of give us a PBRN 101 to kind of show us how this works. And with that, I have a fellow Board of Trustee member and also from the Indiana University School of Health and Human Sciences at IUPUI campus, Dr. Niki Munk, and her graduate assistant student, Sami Zabel. So Niki, welcome. And Sami, welcome. We're glad to have you.
Hi, Robin. Thanks so much for having us. And just a quick clarification, the IUPUI campus is Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis, which is a huge mouthful, but goes with the acronym IUPUI. And I highlight that because PBRN is such a great acronym for another mouthful, which is Practice-Based Research Network, as you highlighted. But so much easier to say PBRN.
Yes. So tell us about that. So what is a PBRN, or Practice-Based Research Network, and how does this impact massage therapists? And how is this a good idea for us as a profession?
That's a really great question, because as you alluded to before, the Massage Therapy Foundation, and then also people who do massage research in academic settings, get contacted a lot from clinicians who are interested in being a part of research. And the truth is that it's really being in the right place at the right time right now, to either be a massage clinician working on a research study that is funded, or if you have the right skill set to be able to conduct a research study within your practice. And it's really hard because there's a lot of support mechanisms and support aspects that are needed that academia really does supply. But one of the challenges on a researcher side, and Sami and I are both now researchers in an academic setting, is that we're not necessarily linked to clinicians any longer, or to patient populations who are seeking massage therapy. Because as we all know, massage isn't linked to the academy. It isn't linked traditionally with how healthcare is received and accessed, so that things like medical records and things like that can be compiled together. And so one of the challenges that we have when we have a research question about massage therapists as a study subject, or as people who are receiving massage therapy, we in the academy have no way to access them. It's not within our umbrella. And that is one of the trickiest, most challenging aspects from researchers who are within the massage field, or even for researchers in medicine who are interested in doing massage research. So there's this challenging research practice gap that exists that PBRNs seek to fill. And essentially what a PBRN is, and it stems out of family medicine, is essentially an opportunity to gather up a group of members, and these members meet a certain criteria. So in family medicine, it tends to be physician clinicians or practices that raise their hand and say, we are interested in doing practice-based research. We're interested in doing research within our patient population. Our practitioners are interested in being clinicians on research studies, and that our environment is supportive of being able to facilitate research being conducted. So there's a whole lot of things that folks who are members are saying. They're interested in being a part of research. And when you think about the kind of inquiries that we get at the Massage Therapy Foundation, or that researchers will receive from clinicians, it's, I want to be involved in research somehow. I have these really interesting patients that come and see me, and I do this type of work. And, how can I study that? We've got lots of pieces out there on case reports that are individual things that are happening in practice. But a practice-based research network essentially can become a repository of members, people who are saying, yes, I'm interested in being a part of this, that other entities can access with their research questions. And so this is getting to the different components of a practice-based research network and the different ways that it may be used. So I'll stop there and see if there's any clarifying points that Sami would like to have add, and then see if there's additional questions that you have, Robin.
Sure.
Well, I think you did a good job covering pretty much what a practice-based research network is. And particularly within massage therapy, it is a really good opportunity for massage therapists to connect with researchers and start producing research that really impacts them and their clients, their patients, because PBRNs do try and develop research questions and research projects that their members are interested in. Members have an opportunity to say, this is what I want to be involved in terms of research. This is what's important to me. This is what's important to my clients. And this is how we can best help the people we serve.
Yeah, those are all excellent points. So it seems to me like a PBRN helps to sort of get people together, gather people together. It's the practitioners and the clinicians who really want to be involved in research, but don't maybe necessarily know how to go about it. The researchers who really want to find people to develop a research question, but they don't have the components of the clinician or the clients and patients for that matter. And so it kind of pulls this all together. Well, that's a great thing. I mean, I would assume you could pull a lot of research out of a practice-based research network like this. So how is this sort of established, if you will?
Oh boy, that takes a lot of work, I can tell you, because there's so many multi-components to it. Mm-hmm. Because essentially the first step is to get a lot of information about people, one that meet a certain eligibility criteria of being a member, right? Mm-hmm. And so from a massage perspective, we would be interested in massage clinicians. And we've talked from the Massage Therapy Foundation about there being interest in all aspects of the clinician cycle. So even at a student level, people could become involved as a student for those who might be interested in doing research on early entry massage therapists or mm-hmm. doing research with early entry massage therapists. Right?
So schools could be involved then if they wanted to be.
Potentially so, but I think it becomes, the PBRN, because it's trying to figure out a way to collect and then maintain a lot of information, hopefully about a lot of people, and keeping all of that information safe. There's a lot of behind the scenes administration aspects that have to be conducted, so much so that in the field of medicine, PCORI, which is Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Initiative. Maybe, did I just get that right? Did I just pull that out? I did. So the PCORI network is a group that actually came out of, if I'm not mistaken, it came out of the 2008 work towards revitalizing the economy, but then also looking at patient-centered outcomes. And this is a really key, almost a paradigm shift of how research was being conducted, was the things that are important for patients. Well, in order to do that kind of research, there needed to be established this sort of networking of clinicians and practices that would be interested in doing that kind of ground on the work. Because I tell you what, as a researcher, that's some of the hardest stuff, is to go into a practitioner say, oh, yeah, we'll do this. But there's a whole bunch of work, just administrative, of conducting the research study that has to be done very specifically, that puts a lot of burden on a practice setting. Mm-hmm. Whether, nurses already have so much to do, and the administrator has to, well, who's going to do what, and who's in the training for, and all of these things. And so recognizing that an infrastructure needed to be built, the government put a whole bunch of money into PCORI to start developing practice-based research networks. And so there's a really rich history and development of PBRNs, lots of money that's been put in to support these pieces. And once it started rolling with different fields of medicine, that started expanding to other health-related fields. Dentistry, integrative health have had a few. In fact, Sami did a really nice scoping review on PBRN research that has come out of PBRNs that was focused, that had anything to do with massage therapy, but a lot of them were coming out of focus on integrative health, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Sami?
Yes, there were quite a few.
Yeah, and so can you speak too about some of the other support pieces that are needed for a PBRN?
Sure. I think one of the biggest things that research in general needs in terms of support is access to funding. And an individual clinician who wants to do research, they may not be able to access grant funds or the people that need to be able to help them to find these funds. So I think one of the things that a PBRN can do is connect these practitioners that are interested in research with an institution like a university or a research institution, and help them to access those funds so that they can be involved in a research project successfully that they may not be able to do by themselves. And then another thing I think is just the administrative aspects, like making sure records are maintained. When you have a large study, that's a huge job, and it may not be able to be done by a single person. So having the access to some kind of administrative support through a PBRN is really beneficial for people who are interested in being involved in research.
Well, I would point out too that the administrative support isn't coming direct for the research, wouldn't be directly coming from the PBRN proper. The PBRN proper is sort of this middleman, if you were, in that the PBRN is the network of members, and the organization of those members into meaningful processes for them to be able to select different studies and things like that they would be interested in being engaged in. So this middle hub, this middleman, if you will, also is the place where folks, whether they are from the academy or other interested individuals who may have an IRB, the Internal Review Board approved research study, they have a research question that could be answered in some way, form, or fashion by the PBRN members, right? And then they would be able to access the PBRN and say, hey, we've got this research question that we would like to get answered through the PBRN. And they would give us a proposal of what that research question is and how they intend to go about it. The PBRN determines if, yes, this is a viable thing. The PBRN then would let the members know this research opportunity is available for those who are interested. And then people are able to opt into that. And so where that becomes a linkage to funding, potentially, and then also to the research support, would be that the folks who are coming with the research questions already have that in place. Like, this is how the research would be conducted. They would be the ones that are getting the research approved by an external, by their institution's IRB, and we would provide that link to those who have funding. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you have these, researchers that have a research question and they have grant funding, and they're kind of putting all their stuff out there, and the practitioners are kind of picking and choosing which ones they could potentially be a part of, and how they could manifest it. But on the flip side of that, since there are so many components to doing research, like grant funding and doing grant proposals might be something a practitioner does not know how to do, but clearly researchers do. So, and then of course the clients that are involved with that. So,
because there are the members and the folks where, they could either be subjects in a research or a research study, or they can be providing access to their patient population or their client population that they may be able to be a study participant.
Yeah.
That other side has to be developed too, of this sort of group that are interested in conducting research in the PBRN. And these two things don't necessarily magically appear all at once that are very robust.
Yeah, right. So it may take a while for things to sort of develop. And as you build a network, which is why it's called a research network, is because you're building a network of researchers and practitioners and their connection to clients or clients themselves. So, so that's interesting. But I also liked the fact that you mentioned PCORI, because it just in, you know, healthcare at large, the thing about interprofessional collaboration, and that's just one piece of it, doing it from the research angle, has been a very strong thing in healthcare, and it continues to develop. So it's nice to see that even on the research end of things, that they are trying to institute things that are going to be intercollaborative in terms of patient study and patient research. So that's interesting. So Niki, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. So why do you think we with the foundation are interested in doing something like this, you know, being a part of a PBRN? What would be the benefit of that?
Well, it depends. Well, there's lots of benefits that would certainly come out of that. From, you know, I'll hearken to the mission of the Massage Therapy Foundation, which is that linkage of research and practice and patient outcomes and education, all of those pieces combined. And as somebody who is a non-traditional academic and non-traditional researcher, in that my primary area of interest resides outside of the academy, I can tell you that it is incredibly challenging to do the kind of work that I am interested, because I don't have access to medical patients, and because I can't be an academic full-time and a practicing massage therapist at the same time, I've also lost my link to that. And so by the Massage Therapy Foundation's focus on research and progressing practice and helping that link, that research practice gap that exists in so many fields, but really astoundingly in our field, that this can really move the needle on how much massage clinicians are engaged in the kind of research that matters to our field. So much of the research that's done in our field is done by people not from our field. It's getting better. It's getting better. But for us to be able to provide a repository and a resource that researchers who are interested in conducting practice reflective massage studies, that they can go to access across the country is a really great opportunity. And I would much rather the Massage Therapy Foundation be the one doing that. If there was going to be interest in even doing it, because it takes a lot of work.
Oh, of course, it certainly does.
Together, certainly. And I think it's also beneficial to the field, because the Massage Therapy Foundation is one that the primary focus is on clinicians and patients. We're not a membership organization that may also have some additional pieces that play into things that are being done. One of the things that I also wanted to point out around the PBRN and it being so important in our field is there is information out there describing clinicians. And I think in many instances they do a nice job of being very summative around that. But one of the things that becomes a point of maybe contention, hopefully not, but that can be sometimes a point of argument, is that kind of research is market research, which is very different from research that is answering a research question.
Yes, yes.
And the PBRN and the work that would be coming out that could be about our practice and about our field would be because it's being done in answer to a research question, not from a market research perspective to describe the field, that then can have things not reported or reported or a different way in having things reported versus here's the question, here's the analysis that was done on the data with measures and outcomes and things like that. So it becomes a little bit of a fine, it's a fine distinction, but a very important distinction that a PBRN would do, and that I think is really important for the Massage Therapy Foundation, focused on research, to be a part of.
Well, we want to make sure that we are doing things that help to advance the profession, and research is one of the things that are part of our mission, as well as education and community service. And it seems to me that PBRN covers all of those angles in doing so. Sami, it's my understanding that you are familiar with a couple of research articles or research that has come out of a PBRN. Can you share one or two with us just to kind of give us some examples?
Sure. So in the paper that I wrote that we were talking about earlier, I found it was well over 30 studies that came out of PBRNs relating to massage therapy. I can't remember the exact number, but there are a few things coming out, and a lot of them have to do with describing clinicians and practice characteristics. So who are massage therapists? How do they practice? Things like that. I feel like there's not so much coming out that is focused on clients or patients just yet. But I think that's a step that we need to take first. We need to know who are our people, basically, before we can start looking at how clients are treated, how they're responding to different treatments, things like that. There's let me think back to my paper. A lot of these projects are kind of building. We started out very slowly back in 2006 or something like that. And every year there seems to be more and more coming out. There's a small PBRN in Ohio focused on massage therapy, with one of the founders is Diane Masnardo, and they've come out with a couple of projects. There was one article published just recently, I think it was 2019, they published an article through them. Yeah, so very recently. Very interesting project. And so there are some things coming through massage therapy and PBRNs. We're hoping that maybe Massage Therapy Foundation can help us to start building on those products coming out.
Yeah.
And I think this is a great segue, Sami, to the fact that there's a Massage Therapy Foundation sponsored PBRN, or that the Massage Therapy Foundation back in 2008?
2009, I think it was.
2009, okay. Put the money up to start a PBRN MassageNet, and that is a PBRN that people may have heard of, heck, might even have become a member of. And there was a lot of activity in MassageNet in 2010, 2011. I think those dates are correct.
Yeah.
And it was, it had some momentum going, but as we mentioned before, it takes a lot to keep a PBRN up and going and vitalized and sustained and all of those things. And there's been a little bit of tapering off. And one of the things that it led to being sort of dormant as far as what kind of information was coming out of it. However, there is an effort afoot for the Massage Therapy Foundation to revitalize that. And that is something that Sami and I have been working on under the direction of the Massage Therapy Foundation, and to help get that relaunched.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that sounds great. Well, we look forward to hearing more about the relaunch of MassageNet, and possibly getting some more details about how that is going to go about, as well as maybe showing some researchers and some practitioners what might it be in it for them in terms of how us reestablishing MassageNet and getting more people to join the membership and researchers to join the membership to see what it will yield. So, well, I thank you both very much for joining me today, and we look forward to more episodes with you on PBRNs.
We're looking forward to it. Thanks, Robin.
Thank
so
you.
much.
This episode of Research Perch has been brought to you by NMT Midwest, home of Precision Neuromuscular Therapy Seminars. Learn more at pnmt.org. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider donating to the Massage Therapy Foundation so that we can continue to bring you this and many other resources to increase your knowledge and improve your practice. Thank you.